Hello, everyone, and welcome to Victory Walk. Today's topic is Follow the GPS. Recently, I had to travel to another borough for my job. This required the use of GPS to get me from my home to my place of work. In the beginning, I followed the directions carefully because I had no idea where I was going. As I became familiar with the route, I would always choose the route I'm most comfortable with. One morning, after setting the GPS, I found it planned to take me on an unfamiliar route. Really? I decided I was not using any unfamiliar route to get to work. You see, after 2 weeks, I could travel back and forth without GPS. I decided I was going with my comfort route. When I got on the highway, I was constantly advised to get off the roadway. The road was clear, so I couldn't understand why I had to exit, so I continued on. Suddenly, all I saw were red brake lights. I was in the middle of a 3-mile slowdown. The GPS kept directing me off the highway, but I was determined to travel my way. You see, the problem was me. I decided to use the GPS, but I didn't want to follow the directions. I wanted to do it my way. I was reminded of Proverbs 3:6. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. I chose to use the GPS, but refused to let it direct my path. As I sat in traffic, I began to examine how this attitude can derail the walk of faith. We have a GPS or guide for personal success to lead us to God. It's called the Bible. The Bible gives us directions for living, but many times we don't want to follow the GPS. Matthew 7:13-14 says, "Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it." The narrow road requires discipline, and we would prefer to travel on a less restricted road. However, there are benefits when we follow God's GPS. When I started out, I had no idea how to arrive at my destination. I depended on the GPS and obeyed its every command. Finally, I heard in 1,000 feet, your destination will be on your right. I arrived at my work site. The GPS kept me away from road construction and traffic delays. It's the same with the Word of God. If we follow the directions, we will arrive at the places God has destined for us. What happens when we become so comfortable that we decide to be our own guide? It can be perilous. Sometimes the road can become dangerous, and without expert help, we find ourselves in danger, just like the man in Luke 10:30. It reads, "A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, who stripped him of his clothing, wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead." Look at what happened to the man who traveled without his GPS. He found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time and almost lost his life. Thought for today: follow God's GPS. Don't leave earth without it. Have a blessed day and walk in faith and victory.